What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni and Younes, and this is a bit of a continuation from the last live stream that we did. I believe it was on Friday or Saturday, one of those two. Yeah, it's Friday because I remember weekend you was a little busy in it.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely was Friday. So this one will be the continuation of the whole Rudiger transfer situation while the rumors going on and potential targets that are going to be replacing Rudiger. Now, we're both very much aware that the club has to resolve the ownership situation first, but that doesn't mean that there are not players that, you know, the existing people in the board are still interested in. Now, I know to some it might be, well, what does it matter if they're leaving? I'm pretty sure that the new owners are not just going to discard their transfer targets. They've had plans before, and I think they're not going to defer too much from there. But Younes, before we get into it, how are you doing, my bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's after yesterday, nerves have calmed down a bit, so that's all nice. And obviously the whole ownership thing. I mean, I read earlier that there's some news in terms of that and how it all might actually be resolved by the end of this month, which is in a week. So hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Well, I mean, we can't leave this any longer. We're coming into May,
Yeah.
which is the month that the season ends, and not long after that, the transfer window will be opening. And to have no owners at that point would truly be catastrophic. Because it's worrying enough how slow Chelsea sometimes operate in the transfer market. Now,
For
to
real.
put new ownership on top of that and having that unknown element, it's really just not a good cocktail at all. But one situation that we do know is an outgoing. We have established that Rudiger will be going to, well, it's all but done, but it looks like he will be agreeing terms to be going to Real Madrid at the end of the season, which will be a massive, massive blow, absolute massive blow to Chelsea Football Club, because we've both said he has been one of the top performing centre backs in Europe. But Younes, I know that you've looked into this with a bit more depth than I have, so I'm just gonna let you go on with what you know about this whole Rudiger situation.
Just leave me the floor, yeah. So with this situation, um, there's two sides to it. There's one side where Rudiger apparently was happy to stay, is happy in London, is happy at Chelsea, is happy under Tuchel, is happy with his teammates, happy with the fans, like is happy, but wants to find out who the new owners are going to be. And the sanctions have meant that we couldn't actually get any agreements on a contract done because we're not allowed to. At the same time, we don't know who's coming in. So if there's one side to this that you could point the finger at, it's Boris. And it's that sanction, because if it wasn't for that sanction, we might have been able to get something done earlier. On top of that, we still don't know who the new owner is going to be, and Rudiger's still uncertain. So there's that. On the flip side, he was offered 230k apparently,
Wow.
and was happy with that.
Mhm.
Now, there's some people that are saying that he refused what was offered to him, but apparently, in terms of the wage that he was offered, he was happy with. But it's his team around him, his agent, and the signing on bonus, the signing on fee that they wanted done, which Chelsea thought was too high.
Right.
So if you're talking about Rudiger's camp hasn't agreed what Chelsea have offered, yes. But at the same time, Chelsea have gone and looked at their demands and gone, it's just too high. We can't do that. And with the situation we're in, we can't do anything right now. So it's hit and miss. Could we have done this earlier? Yes, I believe we could have done this long before sanctions even became a thing. Because we were offering 150 at one point. We were doing, I mean, who knows? Maybe if we had given him what he wanted from the get-go, this would have been
We
resolved.
wouldn't be in this situation.
But you never know. Maybe his agent still would have wanted something. So I don't know. It's something that I guess only the club and him truly know in terms of the fine detail. But yeah, he's going to be leaving. And Real Madrid look like are the club that are happy to give anything that he wants.
Now, For me, it's, I'm not gonna cry over spilt milk because I've seen many fans do it. We could have done this earlier and whatnot. We're here now. He's made this decision. He's gonna go. And we did speak briefly about Marina Granovskaya last time, and we did try and be fair. We're not just gonna lump the blame on Marina because we do know the amount of responsibilities this lady has at the club. She's basically superwoman. She does the day-to-day operations. She takes care of the transfers, the renovations of the West Stand, and God knows what else, chasing all the sponsorships. So there's a lot of pressure for one person. And we did mention that, having somebody who can she can delegate a lot of that work to, or the ownership can delegate the work to, and people that are specified for the position. So, for example, there was this talk about Michael Edwards coming in to sort of take care of like the transfer side, the ins and outs. I think that would be a brilliant, brilliant idea, because I'm not a fan of Marina just walking out of the club alongside Bruce Buck and alongside Roman Abramovich, because you're basically decimating a corporation from the top. And then now you're bringing in people new to this club who don't know anything about Chelsea Football Club like that. Without having somebody up there to facilitate that transition, it can be problematic. So this is why I'm a fan of keeping her for a transition period. But first of all, let me get to the super chat. Big up, Karan. Thank you for that. Love Thomas Tuchel's comments in the post game yesterday. Well, I'm assuming it's the comments he made about Antonio Rudiger. Listen, this, like I said, the situation is what it is. For me, it hurts my heart, bruv. But yeah, we're gonna have to move. We're gonna have to look forward. This right here, I'm not too sure. Listen, no disrespect, Ryan. I'm not too sure how true these rumors are, but if these are the type of players that we are being linked with, I'm happy. I'm happy because this guy here, Josko Vardio, is a baller. Trust me, can play centre back very well, very quick, excellent defender as well, and he can play out wide too. These targets that I'm hearing that Chelsea are looking at, defensive wise, I'm happy with, because this one, if true, like I said, I don't know how true this is. That's a good signing. Apparently, Bastoni is somebody Chelsea are looking at, and if he's available for me, I'd put him up there with first choice with the Koundes and that. Obviously, Kounde, who is on the thumbnails and the poster, is somebody we're gonna be discussing in just a few minutes. Exeter 1985, thank you very much for your donation. Just wanted to say hello and glad to see the subscriber numbers are still growing. All the best to you and Younes, as always. I still have that cheese for those Arsenal fans to go with their wine. Oh my days. Yeah. No, but Exeter 1985, thank you very much. And Karan, thank you very much. Generous super chats. But Joules Kounde, a name that we are very familiar with, Younes. We were linked with him very, very heavily over the summer transfer window, and apparently a deal was pretty much agreed until apparently, quote unquote, Sevilla turned around and said, "Whoa, actually, we want to sell him for almost double what we originally agreed."
Yeah,
and obviously, in any business person will be looking at that and saying, "Well, hold on a second. We're just not going to do that. We've had an agreement." The player mentally was ready to make the move. Apparently, he was sitting down in a hotel waiting for the transfer to be facilitated. Like that's how much he thought it was coming to the club. Didn't facilitate. Joules Kounde, if you've watched him at the beginning of the season after that whole saga, you can see he was rattled by it. I'm not going to say, listen, he's a professional player. I don't really want to come out and say this is what he was doing. But to me, it looked like he was going out there and playing for red cards, bro, because he got several.
Fact.
He looked very, very frustrated that his move didn't go through. But going on the rest of this season, I think, his camp have sat down, had a word with him and said to him, if you still want that move, you still got to be professional. Do you know what I mean? You still got to show that you have some kind of ability to play for Chelsea Football Club and not be getting red cards throughout the season. So he's put back his performances. Joules Kounde, now, here's the thing. I've seen a couple of discrepancies on this guy's height, yeah? If you go on Wikipedia, which is not the most reliable source in the world, it will tell you that he's 5'10". Then there's others telling me that he's 6'2", 6'3".
He's got the KSI problem.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying. So
5'11", is he 5'12", is he 6, is he 6'1"?
now my thing is this: is height isn't really an issue for me as long as you're good. And case in point, Cannavaro was fucking like this short. You know what I
Tiny,
mean? He
midget.
was like
Yeah.
Napoleon. He was basically Napoleon as a centre back. But look at him. The guy won the Ballon d'Or. Do you know what I mean? Wesley Fofana, more recent case in point, although he did sustain a bad injury. Hope he recovers from that and comes back to the player he is. Another short player, but that guy can leap with the best of them.
Yep.
So this is a similar situation with Kounde. Now, the reason why I bring that up, because a 5'10" defender and a 6'2" defender or 6'1" defender, there's a big difference. And sometimes that height difference might determine whether a club will sign you or not. It's those little details, especially for that centre back position. Ludicrous, I know, but trust me, it happens in football. Kounde is for me, from what I've seen of him, technically he is brilliant on the ball, excellent on the ball. Yeah. Defensive wise, he's got it up there. Defensive positioning in terms of recovery pace and stuff like that, he's got it. He sort of reminds me, now remember, I'm not comparing the two players, but he reminds me of sort of Reece James in terms of like, he is a baller. He can play football. Like, this guy could literally get himself, he can walk himself out of a telephone box with a football, bro, and still have it at his feet. And that's a bit, as a defender, you don't really look for those things, but it's an extra nice bonus to see that will tell me this guy is of a level that he could potentially reach an elite status at Chelsea Football Club. This could be the next step for him. Now, do you think this move here could potentially be a bit of a masterstroke move? Because another thing is that there's not really any other clubs that are in for Kounde. So what do you think about this one?
I think it will happen because it was a case where we were so close last time for a fee which wasn't massive, right? Considering the market nowadays. And now we've allowed half of a season to go by. A season, because it was last summer. A season to go by. 1 year down on his contract. Hopefully we'd be able to snap him up for less than what we would have done last time. So that is a positive. And I think, in terms of the one transfer that I look at with all these links that we're now hearing all of a sudden, I think Kounde is the only realistic and the one that's actually going to happen. Yeah. So I think he'll come in and do well. I've got hopes for Kounde. We know he's proven, done fantastic in La Liga. He does good for France when he's called upon. Yeah. So I think he'll come in and do a good job. The characteristics you mentioned are exactly why I think Tuchel is interested in him in the first place, because we need this is the point in terms of identifying players that we know are going to suit Tuchel's way of playing. In the same way that Liverpool pick out players that know they're going to suit how Klopp wants Liverpool to play or Pep wants City to play. These are going to be identifiers that we need to pick out players who are going to suit Tuchel. And Kounde, with what you've mentioned about being a really good ball-playing centre-back who's solid, who gets stuck in, who's physical as well, and his height, I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I think will be good for us. So hopefully it'll be a good deal. Hopefully it'll go through. I think it will go through because Sevilla, I don't think are going to go on one more season with a player who really doesn't want to be there. Yeah. I know he wants to move to Chelsea. It was so close last time. It was ridiculous how it didn't happen. But I think it will happen solely based on the fact that we were linked with him properly back then and that close. Mm-hmm. I think any other name we're hearing now is pure hearsay. Why? 100%. Because we haven't even got new owners. Like, where are these rumors coming from? You know, is it still Marina and Czech and all them lot who are asking Tuchel, who do you want? I mean, it'll be a bit weird. We don't have the funds right now. We don't have the facilities. So I don't know. Maybe, to be honest, look, it would be wise for Tuchel and the club to still do their homework. Mm-hmm. And to not stop, because new owners are going to come in and you kind of want to let that transition go smoothly.
Yeah, it's impossible.
This is the work we have done. So pick it up. This is where we left off. Take it amongst your reins and good luck. But that's as far as it goes. In terms of our Chelsea are talking to the player or do it, no, we can't. So
we can't. And that kind of brings me to this comment from Courtney, which is a fair one. To be honest, I don't even understand how come we're talking about transfers.
There we are.
When we don't know who our owners are and we can't even secure players that are already at the club. No, it's a very good point. It's a very, very good point, and you're entitled to say that. at the same time, it's like just because we're not like our current ownership situation is in limbo, that doesn't mean day-to-day operations just completely cease and completely stop. There's still another season that needs to be planned for,
Oh
and
yeah.
transfers are a big part of next season. And it's not like, when the new owners come in, everybody that is not kicking the ball is going to be leaving the club. There's still going to be a lot of the staff that's going to be there. So again, it's like this. For the Kounde situation, it's quite like Younes said. We know with concrete information that he is a long-term club target. A transfer could have been facilitated last summer, but it wasn't. So this is one where I can honestly say, out of all transfers, this one will have legs regardless of what owner comes in. I personally think that's a target the club have made as one of the targets. So definitely, I think that one is sort of the exception to the rule. But also there has been rumors that we are looking at Wesley Fofana from Leicester. That one I'm taking way more with a pinch of salt for several reasons. A, the one we just said now, and B, the fact that he's just come from a horrific injury that's kept him out for nearly a season.
Yep.
And and then with him again, he's not the tallest centre back, and to have an injury like that, especially at your knee and your joints, you got to see whether like his spring is gonna come back. Is he gonna still have the same leap as he did before? Is he still gonna have the same explosiveness as he did before, etc., etc.? So it's a big risk with Fofana. Now nobody's putting into question his ability before the injury. I thought he was a fantastic little centre back. 100%. I thought he was good. Case in point, FA Cup final. You remember the performance he put in against us?
Put in a clinic. Yeah.
Absolute clinic. It was a world-class performance. That's when I really stood up and I said, I rated this guy, but today he's shown me that he can take that to the next level, 100%. Hopefully, like I said, he does come back. And that injury doesn't affect him too much. I know it was something like a bad ligament injury, but technology these days, thank goodness, is constantly improving. So you can come back from those injuries and not necessarily lose too much of what you had before. Interesting comments made by the chat. Big up every single person in the chat. This is why I love these guys. How can I forget that Younes is Algerian and Mahrez is actually on the move, and Chelsea have been thrown into that equation. Again, we're going to take it with a pinch of salt because of the ownership. Yeah. Me personally, I love Mahrez. I would love for him to come to Chelsea. I'm not even going to ask you because it's just like asking, is the sky blue? We already know what the answer is to that. Bro, let's just humor everybody because everyone's like, ask Younes about Mahrez. How would you feel about Riyad Mahrez coming to Chelsea Football Club? Look at his face.
Bro. I had no idea he was on the move, and I've just literally typed in his name, and I'm seeing all this news on Mahrez. I'm like, oh my god! So yeah, Chelsea interested apparently. My thoughts. I mean, if his contract ends next season, I don't think the fee will be massive.
It won't be.
So that's going to be key because we shouldn't. Because we got to remember as well. As good as he is, and he's how old is he now? 31, I think. He's 31. He's 31. Mm-hmm. So we got to be smart with it. You get another 2-3 seasons out of him max, and then I think the decline begins properly. So, but Mahrez, that would be mad. You can't say no. You can't say, and
that quality, you can't.
Look, I'll tell you now. Yeah, if he joined Chelsea, I'd be front line to buy a Chelsea shirt with Mahrez on the back, and then I'd have two. At that point, I'd have two. I'd have a Chelsea Mahrez shirt and then have an Algerian Mahrez shirt, and I can call him my captain for both club and country. So it's nice.
This is a case. You see with Mahrez as well. When you look at him, you can tell he takes care of himself. I know he does get his injuries here and there, but he takes care of what a baller he is as well, man. And he has, listen, you see the thing is with him is, again, it's that multifacetedness that he has as well as the excitement. Obviously, you know what he can do with the ball at his feet. Very exciting player to watch. But he ticks so many boxes. Creativity, got it in abundance. Directness, got it in abundance. Can he finish? He can do that. Can he finish outside the box? He can do that. He's also left-footed as well. So, and, at least we can go to Mahrez and say, listen, your position, there's a dire need for it. If you look at our options now, there's not one option that really can lace your boots at the minute. So it's yours if you want it. So I think that would be an attractive proposition for him. But again, all of this we got to take with a pinch of salt, because what we got to go in the correct order. We've got to find out what's going on with the ownership situation first, and then we can move on from there. So really and truly, this stream is just, outside of Kounde, it's just identifying what we'd really need for the club. And in terms of Mahrez as well, let's have it right. As much as I would love him at the club, we do have to address priority positions, bro. 100%.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah, we can't let this.
Why? Which is why it's key in terms of fee that this can't be a mad fee. If it were to happen, it needs to be a reasonable fee, because we need to prioritize money for players that we desperately need and positions that we desperately need. But look, with Mahrez, the one thing, you'll hear any Algerian tell you this, by the way. He needs to play every week. Right? Like he needs, and he doesn't get that at City. He's got it more, but he had a phase where he was constantly on and off, and like he was playing, he'd be given 2 games, he'd do well, and then he's benched. And it's like he needs to play every game. Like if he has consistency, I think he will fly. I think he will flourish. And you see it now this season. He's had really good patches when City have called upon him. He comes on and he delivers, and all of a sudden impacts the game. We could do with some of that. We could do with some of that, man. Proper impact. So as long as the fee is reasonable, absolutely, I would do it.
Let me just throw out this thought to you and the people in the chat. Could you imagine Reece James and Mahrez on that right side? Oh my goodness,
it would be.
Oh my goodness me. Oh man, yeah. Let me just get my head out of the clouds for a minute and just hope it happens. Do you know what I mean? Big up.
We need an owner first. We need an owner.
Yeah, we need an owner first. Absolutely. Big up Kaif. If we get Kounde, get his midfield mate. I don't know which midfield mate you're referring. Oh, okay. I know. The name which is too painful to mention. I don't even want to say Tchouaméni again. That name hurts my heart, bruv. I really want Levi Colwill. He gives me James vibes. Imagine a free Reece James is which lone player with us. Hey, listen. Colwill's another interesting one. This is why I feel there's only a need to get one centre back in, bro, and that is Kounde. And in terms of, like, let's say if you want to call Colwill Christensen's replacement long term, the important thing is with that is I just hope the fans have the patience to allow Levi Colwill to develop and step into that role if he doesn't hit the ground running. Because one thing I do know about that boy is that he's special. He is a special player, and he can go all the way to the top. It's just that the fans, we must have patience with his development. But is he a viable option for Chelsea to step into, at least be involved in and around the first team as a rotation option, sort of the role that Trevor Chalobah played this season?
Exactly, 100%. Because I think he would understand that. He wouldn't be, well, I'd hope he wouldn't be too big for his boots and go, I should be in the starting 11. Like, no, especially with, say, if we have Chilwell back in full swing of things. Like, no, it would be a case of he knows what he needs to do. I think he'll be grateful to be in the first team squad, and he'll be patient and working hard. And that is kind of what we need. We need players that are able to step in when we call upon them and deliver and try and push to try and get the manager thinking and be happy with that. You know, and not a case of being, no, I've had enough. I've waited so long now. I need to be playing. Like, no, you need to be patient. I think he would be. And that's kind of where we thought Reece James was at the beginning. I mean, Reece James, Mason Mount, these lads, they were lucky in the aspect that we had to bring them up because we didn't have a choice, and they had to play because we didn't have a choice. Like, so, but I truly believe even with them, if they had it in the same circumstances, they would be patient because this is the club that they've always wanted to succeed at. So, yeah, I would reckon Colwill coming in would be perfect.
100%. And as you said, Reece James, could you imagine that he could have been sold to Crystal Palace for £25 million? If it wasn't actually for Lampard. He did quite a few naughty things. I mean, he didn't want Tomori to stay at the club. You know, the situation with Musiala as
We
well.
could do with that right now.
Yeah. Could you imagine Musiala now as well? Flipping hell, bruv. Yeah, we kept Callum Hudson-Odoi and let Musiala go, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm not trying to upset the fans. But yeah, we're gonna just pretend like I never said that and skip on to this very interesting comment here, which I did just check. And it is true. Paul Canoville has just, in fact, he hates it when I say that. Canoville has just announced on Twitter who his preferred bidder is.
It's Canoville, isn't it?
Bruv, he had a bruv, I was like, the first time I spoke to him, I was like, hello, Mr. Canoville, or something. I can't, no,
Oh,
you I was like, yes, Mr. Canoville, who was like, it's Canoville.
It's Canoville.
He was like, nah,
He's
Canoville.
cool, isn't he?
Yeah, I was like, and I just immediately said, I said, well, there goes that first impression, mate. How you doing? Nah, but he's all right. He's cool. I hit him up during the protest time. I ain't heard back from him, but I know he's been mad busy dealing with this whole situation. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get back to me. Maybe he won't. I'm not claiming I'm Mr.
He
Cannon's
should do.
best friend.
He should do because he's very responsive and he's very down to earth, and
Yeah.
he'll happily do whatever you need.
Cool guy, yeah, cool guy when you do chat to him. But yeah, so apparently his preferred bidder is Todd Bowley. So no surprise to that.
No surprise.
I don't want to say. Can you help me with the second one?
Pagliuca.
Yeah, because I'll need an ambulance in a minute if I keep trying with that.
Or some Italians say it's a silent G, so it's Pagliuca.
I'm just gonna say Paggy. All right, yeah, we'll call
you might be making it worse doing that.
Oh, Paggy, what's going on, Paggy? You all right? What's it?
Or just Peggy.
Peggy,
get out of my pub. No,
yeah, but I don't think he'll be too happy me calling him the Duchess. So let's not do that. Okay, and Matthew Broughton is third. He states that he was not at all impressed by the Broughton's plans. Okay, thank goodness for that.
Well done, Paul.
Which to me, this translates to Todd Bowley is going to get the club because Mr. Paggy has the situation of still having part ownership in Atalanta. And as we all know, time is of the essence to get this deal done as soon as possible. Like we were just saying, transfer window around the corner. There's a lot of things that need to be done at this club. I don't know if Mr. Paggy will have the time to get rid of Atalanta, then continue on with the Chelsea bid. So it is looking like Todd Bowley is on pole position. Yeah. And it's been reported over the past few days, not really heavily, but if you keep your eye out for it, that quite a few people are saying that the Todd Bowley consortium will be the favourites to take over Chelsea. Personally, from what I know from a sporting perspective, remember the key word here, sporting perspective, I believe that Todd Bowley is the best option in terms of Clear Lake Capital and all, the other people that are on this consortium. I am not your most financially literate person to that level, so I do not know the ins and outs of that, and I'm not going to pretend on how I know that's going to work. So I'll leave that for somebody else to explain that. I don't really want to be a fraud. But yeah, so look, the situation with the club obviously takes priority. They're saying that at the end of the month, right, is when we should be hearing on a final decision on who will be taking over Chelsea Football Club. Where we've got to be careful about that is, Younes, is that we've had several deadlines as to when we'd be told certain things and they've never been fulfilled. So I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt. We'll see what happens, but hopefully, let me ask you, in your opinion, do you think this will be done and dusted before the transfer window? Because remember, when this did start, I did say, I think we both said that, they're saying it's got to be done within a week or 10 days. We were saying by May we should have a full takeover. Do you still think we're on course to do that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, a full takeover, actually, maybe, yeah. Maybe, because I think this process with Todd Bowley might actually be straightforward. We knew that from the beginning. Do you remember the whole Saudi media group times where we were like, in terms of time, getting a deal through, Todd Bowley's consortium will do it quickly. And we knew that from the start. So
yeah, they've been saying from the beginning, like, we're ready to go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and even in terms of Premier League tests, directors tests, all of that they passed that instantly. So I do think, I think with the news that we heard today, where they're looking to get everything announced and done by the end of this month. We might even hear by Wednesday, apparently, who the preferred bidder will be, and then an announcement by the end of the week, perhaps. If that is going to happen and we get an announcement by the end of the week, then absolutely by May we can have this deal done. And
that would
would
be,
mean Roman will officially be gone, which will sting a bit. But
the club has to operate. We can't just run it to the ground. You know what I mean? Because if we miss our whole transfer window, we are effed, mate. Like beyond belief. Yeah. We will be effed, in my opinion. How many of our loan players make the first team? Personally, I think Colwill's good enough to make the step up. Gallagher's good enough to make the step up. Gilmore's good enough to be within the squad, be a rotation option. We still got Lewis Hall, who is in the academy. We saw him earlier in the season. I thought stepped up and looked all right. Ian Matson, who's currently at Coventry Football Club, the club my stepdad supports, actually. So I do get regular feedback on him. He says that he's very, very talented and has certainly a place in the Premier League. He said, as for Chelsea, difficult club. You never know if a player will make it. So with him, again, there could be a shout for him. Who else is on loan from Chelsea Football Club that I missed? Broya. Yeah, Broya as well. Yep. Yeah, we can't forget about him. I think he's good enough to come in and make a contribution. So this is what I'm saying. Like, when you really look at the infrastructure of what's been left in terms of like football in our academy is really the biggest silver lining out of all of this. Because let's say hypothetically we weren't allowed to make transfers in the summer and we could only do with our players. I don't think it would be a setback, but we wouldn't be in a terrible situation. Put it this way, I think we'll be in a stronger position that we're in now. That's for sure. That much I can say. So the way this academy and has been run, perfect. We all know this. We all know how successful it's been anyway. But Younes, I'm not trying to keep you too much over time like I did last time, bruv. So yeah. No, let the people know what you've got coming up, what you have put up today.
So today's video was a good one. Reddit Monday has made a comeback. So finally after 3 weeks, I think, or 4, a Reddit video is now out for anyone to watch. So you can go and catch that. Little bit clickbaity, but had to be done. For the bants. And tomorrow, I think it will be a case of seeing what's popping. There's loads of football news popping around at the moment. There's Conte, Poch, PSG, Spurs. There's Mahrez link.
Younes, have you got maybe 5 extra minutes so we can just discuss that real quick? Or are you in?
Quick. I've got a couple.
Okay, cool. So if you lot haven't heard so far, apparently PSG have sacked Pochettino. Is in the process of happening.
They're about to, yeah.
And Conte in some kind of Game of Thrones fashion has offered himself to PSG. Yeah, it sounds like some, I don't know,
Take me
seduction kind of thing under some flipping wolf and shit. I don't know what's going on there, but he wants to go over to PSG. Whether PSG will sign him is a different story, because if we're talking, because with PSG, we all know they want that Champions League. They want the Champions League. Yeah. And his record in Europe is horrible. But how funny would that be, Younes, just for the bants?
It would be hilarious. If he were to leave Spurs this quick, I wouldn't blame him. But I would be like, it would be mad for Spurs and their fans. It would be peak. It would be peak. But I can see that as a definitely potential happening, because I know PSG wants Zidane, but Zidane wants the France job. Zidane's waiting for the French job. Deschamps will get moved aside at some point soon, and Zidane, I think, will take France. So they're gonna have to get someone in. Right now, Conte would be a great manager to bring in, I think, especially, and let's have this right, operating in the French league. PSG have already been linked with Lukaku. Put 2 and 2 together into reunion, you know. And look, if you're going to get one manager that I think has the capabilities of getting the best out of Lukaku, it's probably Conte, because he'll stop you from eating ketchup and he'll stop you from having all sorts. And like, you know, his regime is so strict. And in the French league, there's loads more space. I think it would probably work out. But in the Champions League, Yeah, that's the one thing that eludes them, no matter how much money they have. So
Mhm.
it won't be easy. It won't be easy. But
One,
Poch
one,
coming back to Spurs is something to look out for too.
yeah, 100%. One thing I will say for that PSG camp is that if you think you can mess around like you did with the previous managers, Conte will break your motherfucking neck. So you just try it, Neymar and Mbappe, if you're still there. That guy don't play around. He will suplex you and elbow drop you in front of everybody, fam. He don't play. Player full. All right, just before we go, player 456. If you are indeed part of the Sir Martin Consortium, please hit me in my DMs. I have a lot of financial, help that I need. Wouldn't mind something within the 7 figures, then I will take you seriously. So if we could do that, you can break me off 1 million and you can break off Younes 1 million. We'll be all right. Then we'll take you seriously, man. You know where we are in our DMs. If you don't know where to find us, player 456, all of our details are down there in the descriptions where you will find us 24 hours in the day. We are available for any inquiries that you need. Appreciate
Including
that.
Sundays.
Yeah, that's it. And if you need my account details, just go ahead and ask. No problem. No problem, my friend.
This
But yeah,
username, this guy's username is player 456, man.
yeah, I
That
know.
tells you
I
everything you
know.
need to know, innit? I'm gonna start an account and put it as front man. And what?
All right. All right, people. Listen, thank you very much to everybody that did join us in the chat, man. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you smash that like button on your way out, or if you haven't already, and also subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 10K and we are creeping up to 8,000. So we are getting to that 10K number. We're creeping up, but I need you guys to smash up that subscribe button. Tell your friends about me. Yeah, trust me. All of that stuff. We need to grow this shit. All right, man. So, people, what do I have coming up here? I will be going live tomorrow with Younes. I'll be seeing him tomorrow on Lee Gunner's channel with Northside and Lee Gunner. Absolutely not looking forward to that after we got spanked by Arsenal. And
Oh, we
they've
haven't
just won
spoken to
against,
him.
yeah,
Oh.
they just beat Chelsea and Manchester United. So they're going to be absolutely buzzing about that. Me personally, I'm not. Also, after this, I will be filming back again. I'm not sure if Jetski's even sent the link in the group. I'll be filming back again. This time we did get 3 points and I will be sober. I promise. No rum. I'll be fine. I'll be sober. There's no bants this week. But yeah, man, big up everybody that is in here. AJR got a super chat just before we left. Thank you very much. Guys, we must bring 2 experienced centre backs and Levi. No more shortcuts, then complain about depth. Facts. Smart restructure needed. Gallagher, Gilmore, Colwill, Rice, Kounde, Cucurella set about for 200 million with 100M out. Listen, as much as
No. Rice will be 150
Rice
million easy.
yeah.
Like, nah, you're asking for breaking the bank.
Deckers is gonna cost a lot of money, but I do like that his embrace with both Mason Mount and Thomas Tuchel after the game. It did look very it was nice to see. It was a beautiful sight to see. And then Thomas Tuchel coming out saying, yes, I rate Declan Rice very well. He's a very nice lad and he has a lot of potential. I like him as a player. Deck.
Come home. Deck.
Yeah. You've done enough over in East London. Yeah, we get the point now, Deck. We get it now, Deck. Yeah, you're gonna win the Europa League and that to further prove your point. But just come home. All right, come home. Now, on that note, I've really got to go. I'm keeping Younes too long, and that's all your fault, people in the chat. Leaving, I mean, giving us too much to talk about. But big ups, everyone, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, make sure